Good morning. I'm Muhammad Sabri Muhammad Rawi, and welcome to the Leaders Room, brought to you by the Eclipse Leadership and Governance Center. Today we have with us the MD and Group CEO of Axiata Group Berhad, but prior to this, he was the CEO of Maxis Communications and the MD of Digital Equipment Sdn Berhad as well. He is a member of the National Innovation Council, chaired by the Malaysian Prime Minister, and also currently is a member of the INSEAD East Asia Council. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you, Dato Jamaludin Ibrahim. Dato, welcome. Thank you for coming, and thank you for agreeing to spend some time with us this morning. My first question for you today, Dato, is when you were first appointed as MD and President of Axiata, skeptics were doubtful whether you would make a difference. But in less than 3 years, you have transformed Axiata into a darling of the stock market and the analysts at large. Similarly, when you left Maxis, you left it at its zenith. How did you consecutively transform two companies into highly successful organizations, Dato? Please share with us your secret.
Frankly, there's no magic. In fact, that's the word I want to use. There's no real magic at all, and there's no secrets at all. It's all about getting the right strategy and be coherent about it, and getting the right people. Again, as you see in every books, everyone talks about the same thing. But let me perhaps elaborate a bit. When you talk about strategy in Maxis and be coherent about it, let me illustrate. So in Maxis, for example, we wanted to build a premium brand, and right from the start, it's the core of the whole strategy. So what does it mean? It means getting the right people, pay them competitively, maybe way above others, perhaps. The brand itself, you invest a lot in a brand. So a lot of people say you want to build a big brand, but don't want to invest in a brand. So you invested then a lot in a brand. And even our advertisements, we don't have silly people looking so silly and really degrade the brand. You've seen so many ads that it's okay for some ads, some products, because that's the kind of nature they want, the kind of brand proposition. But if you want to have a premium brand, you don't have silly people look funny but look so stupid. That will degrade the brand. So the little things like this are very important. And similarly, when we build customer center, we hire the best people and make sure we have the best customer service, physically the best customer center, the best service, and so on and so forth. And even when you outsource, you're extremely careful. People like the word outsource for the wrong reason. If you want to outsource to reduce costs, it's fine. But if you are a premium brand, you don't necessarily want to reduce cost per se, because at expense of customer service. So all these things must jive, must be coherent. And then in the case of Axiata, one of the key strategies we have is the first major decision we made was to grow organically instead of inorganically. Right. I think I inherited a pretty good set of footprint. I think DM has done an excellent job to build a footprint. So my job then I look at the operation and say, the best thing now is not to expand aggressively, but to nurture what I already have. No point in expanding when you don't have the best organization, right, the best performers in all the respective markets. So what we did was to, again, to be coherent. If you want to do that, to make them perform, get the best team. So we make a major revamp. Within less than 2 years, 50% of top management team across all the groups were kind of changed or basically changed, right? We have a new set of management team, and some were not because they were not good, but they were sent to some other places where they can fit in very better for the company, for them. So, and then we pay competitively, despite being GLC, we managed to attract and pay people very competitively. You have a good set of people, you empower them, and so on and so forth. I hope you see what I mean, that this is having the right strategy is one thing, but being coherent about it is even more important. And again, the second part is getting the right people in the first place, right? Getting the right management team, motivated employees. So if you can see, it applies in all cases, and just a matter of being the execution and being coherent about it.
Yes. Dato, when you were first appointed, I remember you describing it as a call for national service one more time, and expressed your reluctance actually to assume this position. Stating that you'd rather spend time with your family and do other things that are also of great interest to you. So how do you put aside that emotion now and finally get to focus on the job at hand and do a very fantastic job at the end of the day as well?
Well, thank you. I've sacrificed a lot of my personal time, family time during my days in before Maxis, and even before Maxis. So when I wanted to leave Maxis, I said enough is enough. I wanted to have a break, and at the same time, perhaps then we was looking at something new and different, and maybe not too time-consuming, affecting both my personal and family life. That was the idea. But of course, what made me change my mind was the fact that it was a national service, and there was dangling from me, you better do this for country, okay. And also because one thing I really wanted to do is develop talent, people talent, and I think that I could contribute to the nation in a different way to develop talent. And I was told that I could use Axiata, then at TMI, as a platform to develop people, not just in Malaysia, but across the countries that we operate. So I thought, wow, okay, that's maybe a good platform. And of course, then the first prerequisite was to get my wife's permission, so to speak.
We all do. Yes.
Yeah, but in this case, especially so because I told my wife I want to spend time with the family, and I think, and I make it very clear, if she didn't agree, I wouldn't have accepted the job. Now, to pass further, that itself helped me to kind of get away from that emotion of doing something else, right? Having said that, when we created this vision, I got excited with the vision. When I could imagine just days before I joined what we could do with this company, and I think our chairman, who's also our shareholder, Tan Sri Osman, gave me two words of mandate: make this company a regional champion. And I thought about it. I said, wow, maybe we could do that. Maybe we could turn a GLC into regional champion, a local company to regional champion. I guess that got me excited. And when I think about it, before you know it all, I was here and build the company again.
Okay. How many kids do you have, by the way?
I have six.
Okay.
Six, from very small to
Pretty.
30 years old or 30 plus years old.
It is hard to get yourself away from your family when they are that the stage of the development and growth, I suppose.
Very hard, yes.
And you travel a lot because of your job. You probably have traveled thousands of air miles overseeing different companies. Axiata now is like in 6 or 7 or 8 countries now.
Yeah.
On the subject of personal energy, how do you keep your energy levels high?
Yeah. We are in 9 countries, and it has been quite challenging, traveling quite a lot.
Yeah.
Not just to these countries, but for you to stay on top, I have to travel to other places too, right? To Europe, to US, and we have to do a lot of traveling because of investor relations. I do a lot of that and meet all the investors across the world. Again, mostly in Europe, this part of the world, and also in US. And I'm also a board member of GSM worldwide. So we have our board meetings also elsewhere outside this region. So back to the question, it is very challenging. If there's one thing I don't like my job, it's traveling, frankly.
Yes.
And I've been very clear, I don't like to travel. I try to, when I travel, I reach certain place, I try to get over whatever meetings I have to do and come back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So in a way that allows me to minimize the time away. But having said that, I still spend almost 50% of my time outside Malaysia.
That's a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yes.
And so what I'll do all the time is that to minimize whatever I could, and to avoid traveling during weekends.
How do you keep your personal energy level high? Do you have a special regime that you go through every morning, or share with us?
Actually, well, first I have to keep fit, right?
Sure.
So I do spend some time keeping fit. I do go to the gym, or running on jogging or running at the same once in a while, perhaps about 2-3 times a week. Not enough for sure. Only because I'm traveling, because I'm not very disciplined when I travel. But bottom line is, I do keep reasonably fit. Right. That's very important. The other end is all about when people say about vision, right, internalizing the vision. Right. I guess I've internalized it to the extent I said I want to achieve that vision for the company, for the country. So that
somehow energizes
that
you a bit further? Certainly
energizes me. When sometimes we are down, say, okay, I'm so tired. When I think about it, gosh, but I want to make this company a great company, and that keeps my adrenaline going again.
I think that sounds fantastic because in Eclipse we also believe that there's only so much that physical energy can do for you.
Yeah.
You know, after that you need to tap into other sources of energy.
Correct.
And usually it's the emotional, is a spiritual energy that
That's
that
right.
helps
Yes.
there. That's fantastic stuff coming from you. Well, on the subject, on the topic of diversity, because you're in 9 countries now, how do you go about managing various teams in these organizations in these different regions?
Yeah. It's not easy. When I manage Maxis and prior to that in other companies, is predominantly one country, and yeah, you have the pulse. You can feel the pulse because you are there physically most of the time, right? And here we have 9 countries. It's almost impossible to get the same kind of pulse. So again, to be therefore, is again no secret about it. Just the concept that we build is we build a framework, and that framework is about agreeing on the overall strategy of the company, each of the all the operating companies, agree on a couple of HR principles and philosophies because it's extremely important to us. How do you manage people? How do you pay people? How do you measure and get them motivated? And some financial discipline and principle. So this is how we manage how finance. How do you measure returns and so on and so forth, and governance.